It depended on where you was at. It depended on the loyalties that they had, you know. Oh, some of them, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, there was two factions. You had the North and you had the South.
Mm-hmm.
You had the communists and you had
Capitalists.
for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
capitalists, right? You had those supported by China.
Mm-hmm.
You had those supported by the U.S. So, and then you had the poor people who didn't know what the hell was going on and was stuck in the middle. But for the most part, most of them were gracious enough, you know, because by the time I got there, we weren't the first ones there, of course. So the war was the war was going on very well by the time I got there. Yeah, because I served, like I say, 1967 to January of '67 to February of '68. Yeah, and that was it. So my next thing from there was when I was finally attached to what they call a line company. Now that's a line company. These are the guys who are actually going out on patrol. I mean, going out into the bush, going out into the jungle. This is what they did. Mm-hmm. So I had a week of training in back at the camp. And that was basically just to get me familiar with call signs and understanding what call sign belonged to what organization. Okay, for example, artillery had a certain call signs. The Navy guns may have had a certain call signs. The jets, the helicopters, all those things. Yeah. Everybody, because I mean, our call sign. Our call sign was. We had while I was there, we had two call signs. One was beacon light, and the other one was bad actor. Bad actor. Okay. Yeah, I like bad actor. Beacon light was kind of, but bad actor, but because. Now, I'm a young man, I'm 19 years old.
19.
Yes, I'm 19 years old, and I'm a 19-year-old Marine. Mm-hmm. And there's probably not too many things more gung-ho than a young Marine.
Right.
Than a young Marine. It's something that's, you know, it's instilled in you, and you suck it up. I mean, you feel that.
Sometimes when you guys were like heading out to patrol in the jungle, did you ever process that and like think to yourself, like, what if I don't make it back? Like, did you ever worry about making it back home when you were going out to patrol?
Oh, absolutely.
That was on your mind.
Oh, I would think it was always on someone's mind, but you know, you never look. This is the thing about war. You know, and you hear a lot of these people, and it really burns my ass. Excuse my French, but it really burns my ass when you see a lot of these flag-waving people nowadays, and even ones who were in the military, always talking about they fighting for a flag. I could give a shit ass about a flag, you know. I was worried about what was going to happen to my buddy to my left, my buddy to my right, and that's who you fought for.
Personal.
Yes, you fight for your buddies. You fight for, that's who you. The American flag can be the furthest thing from your damn mind. You worried about, hey, I'm worried about my partner Burton from Detroit.
As you get like closer to them.
You know, and that's who you fight for. You fight to make sure that you and your buddies come home. Now the flag shit, when they parades and stuff, but that stuff doesn't cross your mind. That don't cross your mind when you out there in it at that moment.
At that moment.
Yeah, at that moment you don't think about.
You're not thinking
stuff.
like Star Spangled Banner.
No. You thinking about, hey, is Bird all right? Is
am I all right? Is gonna be okay?
Yes, it's TJ all right? Is my squad leader, Rzuski's. You know, I'm thinking about all the guys that you're thinking about, the guys you serve with. You're thinking about the person. You're thinking about the person that you know, or you're gonna rely upon. That if something happens to you at that point in time, that they're going to see that you get home, okay, or they're going to execute your wishes about, depending on what your state is.
Okay.
Because I mean, it sounds, I mean, we talked about this stuff. I mean, we did. We had guys, we set up and we talked about it.
You talked about, hey, if something happens to me, this is how I want.
This is what I want.
So you guys
It's
talked about that?
Yes.
You guys just sat down and had to talk about that?
You just sit down. I mean, you might be sitting around somewhere, because it wasn't, you weren't always out in the
Right,
bush,
of course.
For my outfit, okay, our thing was we had 5 days of patrol.
Mm-hmm.
When you went on a patrol, it normally should have lasted 5 days. And you had 5 days, we say you had 5 days in and you had 5 days out. So you had 5 days out in the bush, then you had 5 days back in the base camp.
So my dad mentioned that you encountered some type of animals when you were out in the bush.
Oh yeah, I mean, I spent my time, okay, Vietnam, I laugh. Every time, I laugh because we had a brother from Texas, okay, and this was way before I'd ever been to Texas. Mm-hmm. And he used to, and he one day we were sitting around and he said Vietnam reminded him of home, and everybody said, "What the hell are you talking about?" And that was before what he meant was because Texas grows rice. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just learned that several years ago. So that's what he was saying. The rice paddies. Wherever he lived at, they had rice paddies. Mm-hmm. So okay, excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. I remember being once I got assigned to my when I got assigned to my line company. Mm-hmm. Okay, and like I said, I was a radio operator, which by the way was a very important job, especially for recon guys like myself, because I only went out in 12-man teams. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so that's like which is basically a squad. And we would go out out. we would be absolutely miles away. Mm-hmm. So, and everything that we needed had to be on our backs. So
that definitely weighed you guys down.
Oh yeah. I was a radio operator, so therefore I had what was called a PRIC 25, Portable Radio Communicator 25, which was 30 pounds by itself. Oh gosh. And then I had to have an extra battery. So normally I was 35 pounds. So my pack started at 35 pounds. Mm-hmm. So by the time I added 5 days worth of water, mm-hmm. 5 days worth of chow, ammunition, mm-hmm. grenades, you always wanted to have some grenades, it was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a big old guy like I am now. I was still a 19-year-old, 150 pounds maybe. Mm-hmm. Carrying something on, yeah. So it was a little bit, but I you managed it. But I never forget my first patrol, and we were out and we were going up a hill, and I remember going up this hill, and we was climbing. And normally I was the fourth one in line, so you had the point guy, you would have the lieutenant, and then normally the squad leader would be, and then the radio operator. I was either normally third or fourth in line. Okay. Because I normally stayed close to whoever the squad leader was or whoever the patrol leader was. Mm-hmm. We had our squad and we had our squad leader, but a lot of times the patrols themselves might have been someone else. They didn't necessarily have to be from our squad. It could have been a person, okay. An NCO or an officer mm-hmm. that was in charge of that patrol. But I remember the first time, and I was going up the hill, and there was a vine, and I grabbed the vine to pull myself. It was a vine about so big. Mm-hmm. I grabbed it and pulled myself and dislodged a nest of yellow jackets. And they stung me so bad. Oh, they stung me so bad. They were embedded in my head that actually the guys in squad on the patrol with me, my other guys, they were actually had to grab them. The things were sticking me and stung me so bad, they had to pull them out of my head.
Yeah.
And they were huge.
So it sounds like Vietnam was just like a hostile environment.
Yes, the jungle was a hostile because you had to be worried about people and what kind of critters that you might come across.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was
not just the people, it's like even the animals.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one that that was my first patrol. So I had to they had to sedate me for that day because I was out. The doc, the corpsman, our corpsman, we had to stop. We stopped and set up there for overnight because I was out of it. I couldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Okay, and even though the radio was there, anybody wasn't going to pick up a radio and operate it. You just couldn't do it. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Yeah. It's not like TV. It's listening to that piece of crap. Well, let me not say that. Listening to them, it's not clear. A lot of the stuff is not clear. It's very staticky.
You have to have a trained ear.
You have to have a trained ear. Yeah, it's very staticky and stuff. But the one thing about that was that I had lost my watch. So when the next morning we got up and then I became back conscious enough to, and I had my senses about me, and we got up and moved out. I was looking for my watch.